Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tat Talk again. We've got another fantastic show. Second day in our new studio, so we're trying to get used to a few things here, including me not going like that, so I cut my head off for Scotty. Anyway, with me in the studio today, co-hosting, as he tells me, but he'll be actually having the host chair on the Monday, or the host desk. Hi, Nick. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
Good. We've got, as you can see, we've got a young man joining us today.
Absolutely.
Who we've known for quite a while.
Oh, this is going to be... so for those of you out there who are watching who don't know, my parents used to own a restaurant close to where we are right now in Peoria, Arizona. And the band Ambrosia came and played there, and we weren't sure what to think because we'd heard some songs, but obviously until you see a band live, you're not sure, is this a band or is this a... did they do a lot of work in the studio to make them sound good? They came and played live, and we were just blown away by them.
Absolutely blown away. They were amazing. And I thought this 18, 19-year-old guy was going to walk in, and he did. But anyway, if you're not sure who Ambrosia are, you will know the sound and the look of their hits. Check this out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome five-time Grammy-nominated Ambrosia. There's a new sun rising. I can see a new horizon. That'll keep me realizing you're the biggest part of me. Need your love and beside me. Keep it close enough to guide me. I was hoping you would find me. You're the biggest part of me. Oh, well, make a wish, baby. How and I will make it come true. Make a list, baby. Of the things I do for you. Ain't no risk now in letting my love lay down on you, so we can wash away the past, so that we may start anew. Oh, yeah. 'Cause that's how much I feel. But I feel for you, baby. How much I feel. Oh, I need your touch. I need your touch. I'm there for your love, baby. That's how much, baby. That's how much. That's how much, baby. That's how much. And so you try to stay in the middle, and then you cry. Oh, you cry just a little, yes, and then you won't realize just how foolish you've been. Oh no, then you try to make amends, but you're bound for best friends, 'cause that's how much. That's how much. That's how much. That's how and the pain of love surrounds you, and the world may be unkind. I'll put my loving arms around you, take you far from this place and time.
Welcome to the show, one of the founding members and the drummer in Ambrosia, Burleigh Drummond. Burleigh, how are you?
Hey, Terry. Hey, Nick. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wow.
Absolutely.
What a catalog of songs. What you say?
I have to point out, not everybody knows this, but the keyboard player, the girl, that's my wife, Mary, on keyboards.
I noticed that, yeah. And you have a band with her called Tin Drum as well, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah, which now includes, on many occasions, our kids who are writing some great songs. So my son, Burleigh Drummond, who you know, and my daughter, Sierra Drummond, home from the Peace Corps. They're showing up with all these songs, and I've just been in the studio recording them. They're
fantastic.
amazing.
I think it's the first album of Tin Drum I got from you, and it's fabulous stuff. It's great stuff.
Thank you.
There's Tin Drum, there's Wonderground, there's Ambrosia. There's so much to talk about. About I think season 1 we had what we called our drum show of Tad Talk, where we had as guests Liberty DeVito, who I know you know.
Oh yeah.
Danny Seraphin from Chicago, and Gordy Marshall from the Moody Blues.
Oh,
and, and now I'm kicking myself because you weren't on it. We're doing 4 boxes there. But we go back, as Nick mentioned before, we had a venue in Peoria called Sky. And at the time, 2008, we started building the music up again. And after the economy dropped. And we tried to see what kind of bands we could get in, and apart from a bunch of names, and we had the Bay City Rollers there, and so on and so on. Denny Lane appeared there, and Abbey Road Memories, and so on. And we said, what about Ambrosia? And I'll be honest, at Ambrosia, well, I mean, I know the stuff. I know part of me.
Biggest part of me.
But then you start going down. Oh, what about that? Oh, what about that? Oh, what about that? So anyway, long story short, Ambrosia comes in. And it was absolutely the best night we ever had in Sky.
So good.
We just had a ball. And the only part I didn't like about it was Rick Cowling was your lead vocalist at the time, and Rick's amazing. And we were sat about 2 rows back, and when Rick started singing "Oh Darling," well, my wife has never been the same since.
I'll tell you a really funny story. The song "How Much I Feel."
Yeah.
It's about you're in a relationship, but you're thinking about the past.
Yeah.
Past relationship. And this promoter came backstage and told me one time when we were playing the show, he saw his wife out in the audience and walked up to her during that song and goes, he could tell she was kind of upset, and he goes, "Honey, are you okay?" And she just looked at him and said, "You wouldn't understand."
And in fact, we've got our Facebook feed up here, and my wife's just come on and said, "I screamed like a teenager," and that was during the show.
Oh, so, I'll be honest with you. Because I was there for that night as well at Sky with Ambrosia, and obviously there's a generation gap here between the two of us. So when he said, "Oh, come on, you don't know, Biggest Part of Me or Life Beyond LA or any of this stuff," and I'm like, "Heart to Heart," and I said, I know. I didn't know it at the time, and to be honest, I was too young to even drive, so I just went there because I had to be there with my parents. And when you guys started playing, I was just hooked immediately. Downloaded the entire catalog onto my phone, and it was just amazing stuff.
Well, on Tat Talk anyway, we like to kick off the show with 3 totally random questions. So we're going to fire 3 at you. Here we go, Burleigh.
Okay, so Burleigh, first question here for you. If you had the ability to go back in time and watch one song or one album being recorded in the studio, which song or album would you choose?
Giant Steps with John Coltrane, with Elvin Jones on drums.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I'd love to see that.
That's all. That answered us immediately.
Yeah, you can't beat that answer.
I know.
What would you go back and see?
What would I go back? Oh, gosh.
It's easy for me.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be a Beatles one. It's got to be like Abbey Road or Sgt. Pepper's.
Sergeant Pepper's.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah, sure.
Love to
Or
see that.
the moment when John Lennon walked into the studio and on an acoustic guitar sang the beginning of the I read the news today, oh boy.
Yeah.
They said that was just bone chilling.
Oh, I
you know,
bet.
he did that.
Oh, amazing
Yeah.
stuff.
Phenomenal stuff.
And the second question for you, Burleigh,
Okay.
besides yourself, who is your favorite drummer?
Well, every drummer that I'm watching at that moment is my favorite drummer, but my all-time favorite drummer is Elton Jones. Because not that I can sound anything close to him, but he's had the most profound influence on me.
That's great.
Cool
That's
stuff.
awesome. I always forget the name for whatever. It's not a difficult name to remember, but my favorite drummer is the drummer who played with Sting.
Oh, well, how many? Well,
Yeah,
Stuart.
Vinny
Vinny Colaiuta.
Vinny Colaiuta.
Yeah.
That's him. Oh
He's a
my
good
God.
friend. He's a good friend, and
Oh.
I just did some sessions with him
Wow.
where because I do a lot of percussion dates, and sometimes he's the drummer, and yeah, so it's always a. I'll tell you a funny story about him. He's so good. Vinny is so good that one time the producer came out and said to the rest of the band playing on the session, he goes, okay, he says, we got to get this track in the first couple takes because basically Vinny is so good, but he'll play the first take perfectly, and the second one will be perfect too, but it'll be edgier. But the third one is like so Vinny-ized that it's not commercial anymore. It's just from music from Mars. So, you know, it's a drummer's album at that point, but he's just probably the best living drummer at the moment, without a doubt.
He's fantastic. Amazing stuff. All right, and the third and final quick-fire question for you. Which celebrity would you be most excited to meet, but most devastated if you let out a giant fart in front of them?
Well, I've had that experience, and so when I first met Leonard Bernstein, you know, I just swallowed a clam for the first time in my life, an oyster, I mean, for the first time in my life, and I got this tap on my back and turned around with this huge oyster in my mouth, which first time I ever tasted one. And I was really processing that hard at the moment, and I actually did let out a big one.
Oh, that's great.
Love it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We in the middle of the show today, we're going to have a great trivia. Today it's all about yacht rock with some Ambrosia stuff thrown in there too. We're going to do that about 11:30. So for anybody who would like to take part of that, we're going to be giving away a couple of tickets for an upcoming Ambrosia show as soon as we're allowed to get back on the stage.
Hopefully more upcoming than not.
This is sooner upcoming. But you're going to win 2 tickets to a show near you, and they are phenomenal. So you go on to tattrivia.com/Ambrosia. And that's it on there. And you go on and click on the link. Do it on your smartphone. Do it on your tablet. Much easier to play that way. And we'll be doing that. We're doing that at 11:30 today, which is let me see, about 15 minutes from now.
That's
halfway
right.
through the show.
And we just posted that link as well in the comment section. If you take a look at your computer or your phone, whatever you're watching on, you'll see that we just posted that on there. So follow that link or go to that website and you'll find it there.
Absolutely. So Burleigh, I'm going to take you back to this time here. This 19-year-old. Was it 19?
Well, so I was probably 21 by then. You know. Yeah.
19.
So that's the album cover for 180. That was had Biggest Part of Me, You're the Only Woman, but it still had, when Ambrosia started, we were a prog band.
Yeah.
And our first 2 records were more prog oriented, and then we had quite a history. During the first 2 albums, when we were recording in the studio to support ourselves before we had any hits, we played down the street at a female gay bar at night to make a living playing R&B. And from doing that, we became, pretty proficient at R&B. And that's how songs like How Much I Feel and Biggest Part of Me and that's how that whole kind of vibe started in Ambrosia.
Yeah.
Was playing at a club every night. So now, even as we get into our fourth and fifth album, we're still a prog band that plays R&B.
That's wow. That's cool. That's cool. And this was in the early '70s, right?
Yes, it was. We formed in 1970, and by 1974 we were recording. And our first album came out in '75.
That's cool. I always feel it's a strange time for music because you're coming out the '60s, the Beatles had disbanded. Very strange time in the world, actually, and there you are in the early '70s where all this newer stuff started to happen. I think you were part of that.
Yeah, we were kind of labeled initially as America's answer to Yes, England's Yes, Genesis, King Crimson. So, but we were very much a melodic prog band. We always had songs, we always had melodies. It wasn't really watch how fast we could play, although we did try to be experts at musicianship. But we were it was based on songs. So there was always an element of a song within the production and the
No, it's such great stuff, and I read somewhere that A&M was the first label that you were going to be signed for, or at least went to meet. Herb Alpert, is that right?
Yes. Herb Alpert heard us. We auditioned for Herb live. And we were so nervous, like guitar players couldn't hold on to the picks. I couldn't hold on to the drum set, to the drumsticks. We were a mess. We were just a bad case of nerves. But he saw through it enough that he let us record 3 songs. And out of those 3 songs, he actually passed on the band. But then an engineer that was a friend of ours was working in a new studio called Mama Joe's, and the manager, the owner of the studio, heard it, took it to Russ Regan at 20th Century Fox. Russ discovered Elton John, Olivia Newton-John, all kinds of, just amazing music guy, Barry White. Yeah. And he heard it and he signed us. Wow. And at that time we were doing every kind of music possible. We played blues, we played pop, we played country. We were playing and writing everything. But when he heard the prog stuff, he said, "I don't have that. I have everything else." He goes, "But you can give me this edgier experimental music, and that's what I want." So that's what we did.
No, it's great stuff. Do you have a favorite Ambrosia song?
Well, yes.
Go on.
I've always been very fond of Heart to Heart. That's one of my favorites.
Great song.
But I really like them all. I think Make Us All Aware is great. I mean, there's so many great ones. I'm really proud.
Do you have a favorite Ambrosia song?
Yeah, it switches between 2 for me all the time because I love a lot of them, but my favorite always switches between Life Beyond LA and Time Waits for No One. Time Waits for No One is just a genius song.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. It's incredible. What I love about it, a lot of your stuff, actually, a lot of Ambrosia's stuff is very commercial, but then you go into this this section in the middle where it just breaks down into this like rhythmic, like it's so cool. You have the stuff that people would listen to on the radio that they're used to, but then you go into this real musicianship that not many people are used to hearing in the middle of a pop song, and I love that.
Oh, thanks. That was actually a tribute to Leonard Bernstein.
Oh, really?
Because we became quite friendly with him through a series of connections, and we spent a fair amount of time with him, and so that was our tribute to him. It's obviously very influenced by West Side Story and things like that. So yeah,
that's great.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'd love to ask all our viewers to pop down in the in the quotes there. Let us know what your favorite Ambrosia song is.
We just got one on here from actually my fiance. Since we started dating, we've just shown each other our favorite music, and she just commented "Life Beyond LA" for her.
Oh,
You know, she's
there
heard
you
me
go.
listen to it enough. But yeah, another amazing song.
Yeah.
The end of that song, how they end that is just great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, Burleigh, I read a quote this morning that someone had asked you a question and about the band, about the comparative members, and you had said that David and Joe were your Lennon and McCartney, and you was the George Harrison. Is that right?
Well, yes, that's optimistically speaking. But Joe and Dave were they wrote, probably 80% of the song, and I wrote, a couple per album. So, just in ratio.
Yeah, I get what it makes that makes sense, because you would think, okay, well, Burleigh must be the Ringo because you play the drums, but not so much because you wrote the songs too. Do you play any other instrument?
Yeah, I play piano, guitar, bassoon. I played. My first instrument was trumpet on military bases.
Was it
because
really?
I was an Army brat, so I used to have to go play reveille, taps.
I know that.
All that.
I was in the Air Force and played euphonium in the Royal Air Force Band.
We should get together and relive all those moments.
I can just see it now, a euphonium and trumpet duo.
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of piano, because my dad and I are both piano players as well.
Yeah.
One of my favorite piano players, and my dad's as well, is someone that I think I read actually played in Ambrosia for a little
Bruce
bit.
Hornsby.
Bruce Hornsby.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Can you tell me that experience working with him?
Well, first of all, this is before he was ever signed and so forth. Yes, he came and played with us for about a year. And then right as the band kind of took its first big break because of business and so forth, we had to kind of dissolve. But he was amazing. But the biggest, he's one of the biggest influences on me as far as my approach to music, because years later, I was talking with him after he had been very successful, and he said, he had come to a point in his career where he had to decide whether he was going to just, play his hits and kind of slowly, how the career kind of just slowly fades. At that point, where he goes, or he was going to do what he always wanted to do and become the musician that he always wanted to be. And so what he did, he locked himself away for months and literally practiced 10, 12 hours a day on the most difficult pieces, classical jazz, and his own writing that he always aspired. He just worked on being the piano player and musician that he always dreamed of being, instead of just, the eventual decline. And I was so impressed by that, to make that decision to push yourself even further, even after all the success he had.
Absolutely. Well, here's a question for our viewers as well. What's your favorite Bruce Hornsby song? I know Nick and I argue about this all the time, because Nick's got this crazy, stupid idea that the new version of Mandolin Rain is better than the original version of Mandolin Rain.
See, so
Yeah, okay.
so I don't know if you've heard the new slowed down, balladized version of Mandolin Rain. I think it was first premiered in a Robin Williams movie, World's Greatest Dad. That's where I heard it for the first time, at least, and it was released on that album. And it's the same song, it's the same lyrics, but he's changed everything about it, other than lyrically. Like, he's changed the melody, he's stripped it down to just piano and voice. And for me, my dad and I argue about this because he grew up with the original Mandolin Rain, so he loves that. But I think the lyrics and the message behind it fits this new tune that he's written to it so much better, and he disagrees with me wholeheartedly.
What's your favorite Bruce song? Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. Every Little Kiss is my favorite.
That's strange. I was just about to say I love Every Little Kiss. Da, da,
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Amazing song.
That's a great album. Joe played with the Range, right?
That's right. Joe was on, I think, the first couple records at least, and he toured for years with Bruce. Yeah.
Great stuff.
And he won a Grammy. He won a Grammy for being, I think it was Best New Artist that year.
That was The Way It Is album, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
great.
You guys have done a lot of that where you've played with multiple artists and backed them. You guys played on Alan Parsons' first album, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We played on a song called The Raven. And it's funny because they were very hush-hush secret about what they were doing. We actually recorded it while he was mixing our first album.
Wow.
Which he was nominated for a Grammy for, Best Engineered Album. And so during the course of that recording, the mixings, we sat up and we played The Raven, but he wouldn't tell us the name of it because he didn't want it to leak out, that it was Tales of Mystery and Imagination and Edgar Allan Poe. So, he and Eric, his partner, who wrote a lot of the songs, came into us and said, okay, so we're all set up and we're going, how does it go? What's the feel? And he goes, okay, so it just goes boom, 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 boom. And this went on for 2 or 3 minutes, and we're just looking at each other going, are these people crazy? So anyway, we expanded upon it, and I think Joe had a great idea. I think it eventually became da-da-da. We just kind of elaborated on it, but our initial reaction was like, these guys are nuts.
That's cool stuff. In a couple of minutes, we're going to be hitting our trivia game. For those who want to play, just go on your smartphone, your tablet, and put in tadtrivia.com/Ambrosia. It's a trivia for yacht rock and some Ambrosia questions too, which also come under the category of yacht rock.
That's right. We got a couple more comments in here. One from Linda Wolf, who is our TAD ambassador and just an amazing person. And again, Julia's on here again. Linda said she loves Bruce Hornsby. Her favorite Bruce Hornsby song is "The Way It Is," of course. Incredible song.
Which we do that in our show now.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, we do it as a tribute to Bruce being in our group, and
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it goes over very well.
Fantastic lyrics in that song too. And then Julia put the correct answer, which is the new version of Mandolin Rain.
Nah. Before we get to trivia, and for everyone playing, just go on that link now. We're going to be playing it anytime soon. The 70s was a great time. I was born in 59. And great time, mid-70s, early mid-70s. I was just getting into the music I liked. And my favorite band, and to be honest with you, probably still are today, are an English band called 10cc. You know them, Burleigh?
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
And of course, so much more than I'm Not in Love, which is what people know them for. That and Things We Do for Love, but love the stuff. And Ambrosia's harmonies, it reminded me of a lot of the and their progressive way of writing pop music too.
Yeah.
They used to veer across all kind of different stuff. So very much.
Yeah.
So we're going to play trivia. tedtrivia.com/Ambrosia. Go on your screens there, and we'll put that trivia up on our screen. Get everybody ready to play. This is it. It's Yacht Rock Trivia with Burleigh Drummond. And that is the current lineup of Ambrosia. That's Mary there and Burleigh. Which one's you, Burleigh?
I'm the one that it looks stressed. I'm the second one from the left.
I expect you to say the good-looking one.
Well, that goes without saying, but
you look like you should be in the new Matrix film with that.
I thought we were all in the Matrix film.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Jump on that trivia. Type in that tadtrivia.com enter the code Ambrosia, or just type that in, or scan that QR code that's there on your screen. That will also take you to the trivia. Whoever wins today are going to get a couple of tickets for an Ambrosia concert as soon as we come back, which will be soon. You're also going to be able to see Ambrosia live, virtually live, in digital form. And once we have that link, we will be posting that on all our pages and stuff like that. But why don't we start this game and we'll see who's going to win 2 tickets to see Ambrosia.
30 seconds here. 30 seconds before this quiz starts. And we'll talk about these, but who was it? There was one, it might have been yesterday. No, I gave one away yesterday. There was a guest we had on that completely just blurted out the answer to one of the questions.
Here we go. Tad Trivia, Yacht Rock, and Ambrosia with Burleigh Drummond. Here comes the first question now. Are we ready? The phrase yacht rock was coined by the popular web series of the same name. Is that true or false?
A or B?
A or B? The phrase yacht rock was coined by the popular web series of the same name.
Yacht rock in the 70s, 80s,
90s.
named after a web series.
Let me see. Let's look at these percentages of people who answered.
No one answered.
Oh, it looks like
Do we have some technical
we have a
difficulties here?
glitch.
Do we have a glitch going on
Looks like
here?
we're not going to get this going, so Nick is going to ask Burleigh a question while I look at this and fix it.
I am going to ask you a question. All right, here's another random question that I did not tell you before. So this is actually
That's
one
fair.
that you have to ask, that you have to answer on the spot.
Okay.
If you could perform or record with any band that you haven't, which band would that be?
Wow, tough one. Well, there's so many. Gosh. I'd like to be part of the, I think for fun, I would like to be part of the English thing in the 60s with the Animals and the Yardbirds and people like that. So, just a random band. The Yardbirds would have been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
The Animals would have been incredible.
Definitely. Is there anyone like nowadays that you look at, maybe that have been around for years, or maybe somebody new that you, it could be a band or a solo act that you just look at and you say, oh, they're cool. I could see myself jamming with them.
Well, I mean, people from my era, we've been playing a lot over the last couple of years with Michael McDonald.
Oh.
So he's still one of my favorites to play with. So I'm kind of living my dream. I get to play with a lot of people that, through different, pairings like Dave Mason, Michael McDonald, Bill Chaplin. It's huge for me.
Yeah, Bill's phenomenal.
Bill's one of the funniest. I didn't expect him to have the comedic timing and just he's hysterical. He's what a movie would interpret as a rock star.
Yeah, no, he's the history. I mean, he knows so much about everything.
Absolutely.
Physically. And he's kind of like a teacher. I mean, that's the way I feel in that present.
I have a great story about Bill. We were on a ship a year ago with December '63, and it was one of those. It was called the On the Blue cruise. So Alan Parsons was on there.
Probably Dave Pack was probably on there.
David was on there. Danny Serra from Chicago. Todd Rundgren. Yeah, it was a phenomenal cruise. And Bill came up and we were chatting before December '63 show, and he stayed to the end, which was great. And we're chatting to the guys. So the 4 guys were meeting him, and they were all a little bit starstruck. And it's great, it's great. And one of them had no idea who Bill was. So he was asking, because he was a little bit, well, what do you do? He says, well, I was sung in a band called Chicago. Oh, what kind of songs? So he said, have you written any of your own songs?
Yeah, as soon as he said Chicago, this person who was asking was very much into musical theater, so he's like, oh, I love all that jazz. That's one of my favorites.
So he said, have you ever written any of your own songs? So Bill said, well, There's a song that I wrote with David Foster with Earth, Wind and Fire. Don't know if you know, it's called After the Love Is Gone. And everyone's like, yeah, Bill's great. This phenomenal guy, and we pounded the coffee on that ship every morning. We'd be at the coffee shop for hours. Anyway, I think we got the trivia back online, so we're going to try and have a crack at playing this trivia, and let's see what happens. I've actually got it up on my phone now to see if it's happening. So anybody who's out there, go ahead and put tadtrivia.com/Ambrosia or scan that QR code.
You have a few seconds left to get on here. So for that first question, I don't know if it'll be randomized now, but if it's in the same order, you'll have had 5 minutes to think of the answer for this first question. So
Google it, everything.
all right, let's try this again. Here we go.
Is this me, Nick?
This is you.
It's me. Let's do it. Oh no, we've gone
Randomized.
Tony Tennille sang backing vocals on a recording by Pink Floyd. Ooh. Tony from Captain and Tennille. Is that A, true, or B, false? Tony Tennille sang backing vocals on a recording by Pink Floyd.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like it seems like an odd pairing.
It does. So let's see how everybody voted and if everybody voted. Oh, there we go. We're working.
A lot of people said true.
Well, 67% of the people playing said true, 33 false. What do you think, Burleigh?
I'm guessing, but I'm going to say true because, I mean, my wife sang backgrounds on a Pink Floyd record. So
is that right?
She did a lot of sweetening on their live records. She would be called in and she'd fill out parts. So I figured if my wife did it, probably Tony Tennille did it.
Well, we don't know these answers. I put false. I'm playing the game and I put false. Let's see what the answer is. True!
Oh, nice one.
Tony Tennille. Burleigh, one up. All right, Nick.
All right, question number 2. Which of these famous solo artists was once a member of Ambrosia? If you've been listening to any of this, then you should know the answer. Kenny Loggins, Bruce Hornsby, Michael McDonald, or Christopher Cross?
Ooh, we may have thrown them a little bit, though, with the conversations.
Oh, yeah. So it is one of them, and I love all of these 4 people because they're amazing, but one of them is correct. Will you get it right? Burleigh, if you don't answer this one correctly...
I'm thinking about it.
Let's look at the... we got... Oh, well... Somebody said Kenny Loggins. A few people have said Christopher Cross. What do you think, Burleigh?
Well, obviously Bruce Hornsby was in the band, but I have to say that Ambrosia has backed up every single one of these artists.
Is that right?
So in a sense, they have all been an Ambrosia.
Wow. Well, thanks for screwing our game up. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Julia Rose
and Pal. And bad at this game. You're not that bad at this game if you're in third. Yeah,
all right.
Doing all right.
Let's fire away. Next question.
It's all you.
The famous line, if you like pina coladas from the song Escape, was originally these lyrics. If you like walking by
sing it.
Go on then.
You know, you got to say it's your question.
If you like walking by the ocean, or if you like naked romps at midnight, or if you like Humphrey Bogart, or if you like jelly beans and onions.
That was great.
I thought you'd like that.
That was fantastic. We should have added some harmonic something behind.
Burleigh, what is it? Do you know?
I don't, but I'm going to guess. A.
If you like walking by the ocean,
that would make the most sense.
Yeah, just because of the way it would sing, you know.
All right. Well, let's see what the right answer is. If Humphrey Bogart.
Thank God he changed those lyrics.
If you like Humphrey Bogart.
Could you imagine if it was renamed the Humphrey Bogart song?
No kidding.
Shrek wouldn't have used it. I'll tell you that.
I think we still got some glitch with the people going on the trivia, but you know what?
We're in it now.
Yes.
We're in it now.
Let's go ahead and go to the next question.
All right. Name the Bill Chaplin band that features Burleigh Drummond.
Does that say Chaplin?
That says Chaplin, so that's what I said. But it's Champlin.
It is Champlin.
But I'm saying it how you wrote it, so it's your fault. Is it A, White Rice, B, Wonderground, C, Sublime Synchronicity, or D, Never Never Band.
Those are some good names.
Yeah, except Bill Chaplin. I don't know why he's suddenly a relative of Charlie, but...
Do you think white rice had anything to do with Ambrosia?
Well, they do have rice pudding.
Rice pudding.
Rice pudding, yeah.
What do you think, Burleigh?
Well, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say Wonderground.
All right.
Let's see what everyone else said. Most people said Wonderground. You guys are doing well. If it's right.
Let's see the answer. It is Wonderground. Next answer. Next question. The phrase yacht rock was coined by the popular web series of the same name.
This is the one you've had 10 minutes to think of the answer.
It is.
Hopefully you've done well at getting this. Is it true or false? It was, forgive my ignorance here, but were there web series in the time of yacht rock?
Well, yacht rock wasn't named yacht rock at the time. It's only quite a recent name. What do you think, Burleigh?
Well, I'm thinking false, because I remember touring in the 90s, and we saw these two guys. They were our opening act, and they did something that was called a yacht rock skit.
Okay.
And I thought they were the first two guys. So
may have been. Let's see.
Most people said true.
Yeah, we got true and false.
It's true.
It is true.
My gosh.
And we've seen, you know, there's a lot of yacht rock tribute shows going around right now. There's some really good some of them have got. You got to have great vocal. I've seen. To be fair, I've seen some pretty bad ones as well. But there are some really good ones. You've got to have great vocals to have a great yacht rock show. Would you agree?
Yes, you do. You know, I mean, and what's amazing is the people that come to the yacht rock, all generations. You know, it's many, especially there's the 30-year-old crowd is huge. They're predominant, and they know every lyric to every song.
I think
it's really amazing.
Yacht rock is one of those things, like when you're putting it together. Most of yacht rock, not all of it, but a lot of it is softer type of music. And some people might equate that to, oh, it must be easier to play. It's difficult stuff. It isn't as simple as, you know, let's do it. It takes a lot of amazing musicianship to pull that off.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, this is your question, Nick, number 6.
All right. Kenny Loggins shot some scenes for the movie Caddyshack playing a hapless golfer, but they did not make the final cut. Is that true or is that false? And for those of you who don't know, Kenny Loggins did I'm All Right for the movie Caddyshack. So this could very well be true, but it could be a trickery as well. So it could go either way for me.
Wow.
Hapless golfer in Caddyshack. This one's for you, Burleigh. What do you think?
I'm going to say true, because
okay.
Why would it be impossible for somebody to dream this up? So it must be true.
You think so?
Most people said true.
Most people said true. Let's see what we got. It's false. It's false.
It was trickery.
Next question, number 7. Who is this? That picture that's on there. The guy sat on the green bench.
Okay.
Not Burleigh peeking over him. Is it Huey Lewis, Jimmy Buffett, Boz Scaggs, or Robert Palmer?
I mean, I know who I think it looks like.
What?
Well, I don't want to say it in case it's wrong.
Okay.
But yeah,
Do you want a clue or not?
No, because everyone else will.
Do you want a clue when the seconds go down?
5.
I got to tell you a little story about this.
I would, because to me it looks like a young Huey Lewis, at least from the side.
What do you think? What do you think, Burleigh?
Oh, it's Boz.
It is Boz.
Is that Boz?
Let's see what the. Look at all those, Nick.
I need new glasses.
What's the story, Burleigh?
So Jeff Porcaro, the drummer that played on it, you know, from Toto.
Yeah.
The whole band Toto played on his. Boz was at the end of his contract with a label, and so he had basically one more chance, you know, on that label.
Yeah.
So he asked the guys in Toto, who basically did, you know, Low Down, that album with Low Down on it, and they did it pretty much. These are some of the best session players in the world, and they're usually getting triple scale, but they did it for him for practically nothing, you know, to help him out of respect for him. and they did the whole record. And then Boz, like Jeff McCarr told me, Boz just showed up at his house one day after the record hit, and just handed him a check for like 40 grand and said, "Thanks,
Oh my
thank
gosh.
you." And Jeff never forgot that,
Wow, that's
My
great.
gosh.
That's cool stuff.
You know what we haven't done? We haven't looked at the leaderboards.
Let's look at leaderboard. I think we've got a glitch, so there's not too many
Oh,
of us.
Pal is up at the top.
Pal is at the top.
Kind of by a wide margin, too. Followed by Julia, followed by Bjorn.
And I
Awesome.
believe Pal's played the game before, and he's in Canada.
Is he in Canada? Oh, it's,
I believe
oh, you
so.
know what it is? It's Paul.
It's Paul, is it?
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, let's look at that next question.
All right, is this mine?
It is.
All right, what is the name of Burleigh Drummond's band, which also features his wife, Mary Harris? Is that Harris and Drummond, Tin Drum, Wonderbrosia, or Backwards Forwards? See, now backwards forwards sounds like an action that husband and wife sometimes do.
Especially when you're older.
Yeah. So that would be the obvious choice, but the things aren't usually obvious in these quizzes. So
I can tell you now the time's gone down that those are 4 great names, but I love Wonderbrosia.
it makes me want to have like a piece of bread, Wonder Bread, you know?
Could be. Burleigh, give us the right answer.
Well, it's Tin Drum, but I'm going to tell Bill Chaplin when he plays with us, we're going to call it Wonderbrosia.
Wonderbrosia. I love it. Awesome. Question number 9. Name the keyboard player who has been with Ambrosia since the beginning. The very beginning, along with Joe and Burleigh. Is it Doug Jackson, Ken Stacy, Joe Puerta, Christopher North? I guess I just gave some of that away, didn't I? Maybe kind of.
A lot of people, you seem to think that a lot of people pay attention to you.
We have a B3 here in the studio here. We've got a big stage here, Burleigh, with
Oh, excellent.
a beautiful B3 and a nice big Leslie. So we'll have to get this man
Nothing like
here.
it. Yeah.
Someone who doesn't know music is watching this saying,
Well, you know
who's
what I'm going
Leslie?
to do? I don't want Burleigh to answer this question. I want you to tell me.
You want me to?
Who is the original?
All right, is it Doug Ducey, Kevin Spacey,
No.
Joe Retta?
Here's a clue.
I think, you know what? I'm gonna
It looks like Todd Rundgren.
Christopher North. Christopher North. It's got to be.
Let's see the answers. Oh, that's spread across the board.
Oh, yeah, barely. Yeah. Oh, you tied. Wow.
Oh, it's either B or D.
Yeah.
It is,
Oh.
Chris.
I think he looks more like Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, that.
So
love it.
we're in airports sometimes, and little kids will walk by and go, "Is that Ozzy Osbourne?"
Ozzy Rundgren.
Ozzy Rundgren.
Go ahead. Last question.
Okay.
This me or you?
This is
you.
yeah. Who is this? Is this Air Supply, Hall & Oates, Seals and Croft, or England Dan and John Ford Coley? Ooh.
Look at that, Burleigh.
Who
You can
is
see the
this?
picture?
Yeah, it's it's the Mustache Gang. That's who it is.
It is.
That's what it is.
They were some mustaches.
Are they the team that flew the first airplane?
They're not the Wright brothers.
Oh,
no.
okay, no, okay.
All right, we're down. Do you know the answer to this?
I do. Yeah, we play with John Ford Coley plays with us quite often, so it's England Dan and John Ford Coley.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
most people said Seals and Croft in there.
Well, all the bands had mustaches back then. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Nick. Here's one for you. Sing the chorus of England Dan and John Ford Coley's yacht rock hit.
Was that? I'm not talking about moving in.
There you go.
I don't want to change your life.
Yeah. There's
And I'd really love to see you tonight.
There you go.
Yeah, great song.
Let's
All right,
see
let's
the
see who won.
leaderboard. Who won?
Bjorn
Bjorn.
won. So Bjorn put the quiz together. So he is automatically disqualified.
We're
from
going to
this.
disqualify Bjorn from this.
Jerry, I got a special guest here. My
Oh,
son
wow.
and my granddaughter.
We are going to. Oh, wow.
Hey guys.
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. What's her name?
Her name's Margot.
Margot. Your
Hello.
first
You know what?
She's the best drummer in the family.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Margot.
Oh, she's smiling. How old is she, Burleigh?
She's 10 months, right?
Yeah, almost.
10 months. Almost a year, 10 months.
That's fantastic. Love it. See you, buddy.
See you guys.
Winner of the quiz also gets to babysit Margot for a night. All right, so Bjorn is disqualified because he put the quiz together. He knew every answer. So second place, I believe, was Paul, who is in Canada. Paul, you win 2 tickets to see Ambrosia.
Yeah. That's great.
So-
Awesome.
Yeah.
We don't know if we've got
So-
any Canadian tours in here, but we'll find out when we can make that happen.
You know what? Yeah, we'll give him my contact, and if he sees the show anywhere that he can make, we'll get him in.
Awesome,
Beautiful.
Burleigh.
Awesome.
Good stuff. We've got a few more things before the show ends tonight, but a couple of questions for you. I know your son Burleigh is in a great show in a tribute to the Everly Brothers, and boy, do they ever have that down right.
Yeah. You know, that's an interesting story because my son came home from getting his master's in London, and he came home and, he already had a daughter. He was kind of panicking, and one day, and I was in the studio working, and I finally, and I remembered these 2 brothers that did it, and I said, why don't you get those brothers in here? And I know they do Everly Brothers. Let's just see what happens. And so in like 2 weeks, we had recorded the album, and then, in the first year and a half, they had done 170 shows.
Wow.
So they just took off, and it was like really happy.
That's
some things you think of actually do come true.
No, absolutely.
That's fantastic.
That's so good. Should be really proud. We're going to hit a part of the show we called Either Or, Burleigh. I'm going to fire some what would you prefer questions.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I am.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
YouTube. Toast or eggs?
Eggs.
Cardio or weights?
Cardio.
While you're walking, music or podcasts?
Music.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
High tech or low tech?
Low tech.
There's so many people saying that.
No tech.
Work hard or play hard?
Both.
And then sneakers or sandals?
Barefoot.
Barefoot.
All right, I have one more. Michael McDonald or Bruce Hornsby?
Oh.
Both.
Now we have some other questions that we have. I'm going to throw the glasses on for this. These can sometimes make our viewers cringe because we don't know what's coming up. But
Sure.
we'll take these would you rather
Okay.
and randomly select 3. Here's the first one. Don't know what I'm reading. Would you rather give up all drinks except for water or give up eating anything that was cooked in an oven?
Drinks.
Drinks. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather live until you are 200 but look like you are 200 the whole time even though you are healthy, or look like you are 25 all the way until you die at age 70?
25.
25. I love it. Well, I can't read that because we've already had one fart question. So here's the second one.
You know what? Number 2 sounds good for when we're talking about farts. So 2 is a round number for that type of thing.
All right. Okay. Would you rather become twice as strong when both of your fingers are stuck in your ears, or crawl twice as fast as you can run?
Crawl.
That's something from a horror movie right
It
there.
is.
Can
It's
you imagine
weird.
that?
I don't put the questions together.
You've given me so much to think about today.
And I have another question that I
Fire.
just thought of right now. In terms of Ambrosia, what were your main musical influences when you were writing the music that you did in Ambrosia?
Well, you had four very individual guys in the beginning of Ambrosia, and that's what made Ambrosia so wide in its tastes and sound. Dave was obviously a Beach Boy Beatle guy. Joe was a Rolling Stone guy, and the singer-songwriter guy like Jackson Browne. Chris was blues. He was the ultimate blues guy, and I was, at that time in my life, influenced by everything, but I was heavily into ethnic music and studying music of India and Africa and then the jazz thing. So we all brought this together, and that's what created Ambrosia.
That's great.
Still
Awesome
one of our
stuff.
favorite bands, without a doubt. Again, last question of the show, Burleigh. If you could spend, we ask this every guest, if you could spend the next 60 minutes with any two people, dead or alive, maybe someone you've known, family, or historical figures, or anybody, anywhere in the world, who would you like to spend the next hour with? Where are you going to go, and what are you going to talk about?
Well, I'd like to, I would love to have gone back to when my parents got together before me. And just see what it was, what was the happiness like then, and I believe that was probably the best of their lives.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have experienced that.
Where did they meet? Do you know?
Yeah, my dad was a full colonel in the Army, and my mom was an Army nurse, and they met in Japan after the World War II.
Oh my gosh, that's a movie plot right there.
It is.
Yeah. In fact, I think I was actually made in Japan. I think I was consummated on Mount Fuji. Yeah, because it's funny because I was born in Fort Leavenworth Prison Camp, Kansas. So it's a military prison. So I think my dad got busted for, making me on Mount Fuji, and that's where I was born in Kansas. So
That's cool. That's cool. It's been great stuff having you on the show, Burleigh.
It's been wonderful being here. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's been great. We can't wait to see Ambrosia back on that stage.
Absolutely.
And we're going to go to the next. Let's go to the next show.
Done. Yeah.
Done?
Anytime. Absolutely.
Deal?
As long as you play. I went to see you last year, and I think because you have so many great songs that you sometimes have to switch some songs out in order to play your entire catalog. And I was waiting for Time Waits for No One, but that's one that you have to substitute out sometimes, and I didn't get to hear it. So when I come to the next show,
You got it.
Time Waits for No One.
Where was it?
It was at Happy Trails.
Oh, well, that's right. Yeah. Happy Trails. I remember that.
Yeah.
So we're going to go and see Ambrosia at the end of this year. You got one request of them. It doesn't have to be a song. It can be anything. What's your request of Burleigh for that show?
Any request at all?
Any request. It can be anything. I have a request of him.
Gosh. Find the tallest top hat you can find in any store and wear that the entire show while you're drumming.
Okay, I'll do that if you come on stage during Time Waits for No One and do an interpretive dance while we play it.
That's fine. That's fine. Is clothing optional, I'm guessing?
Clothing is not optional. No.
And my request, Burleigh, is apart from Time for No One, when you're wearing the top hat, I'd like you to get a wig like this and wear it for the entire show.
Okay, that should be done.
Done.
To everybody watching, thanks so much. Sorry about the glitch on the trivia. We've got some trivia coming over the weekend. We've got some great reruns of some of the shows we have had over the last few months. And we'll be back again on Monday here in the studio with 5 new guests next week. You've been awesome. Stay safe. Thank you, Burleigh, for being on the show. Thank you, Nick, for co-hosting. You've got this chair on Monday. I'm not here on Monday.
No?
I'm not here on the show on Monday. I'm watching Manchester United play Southampton on Monday. So couldn't move the game, so you're hosting.
And we don't, you know what I'm going to do because he chose the game over, his job. So what I'm going to do, because we don't have a guest yet for Monday, I don't think. We don't have one nailed down. So I'm going to try and get Manchester United's most recent who should I get? Maybe a player, maybe their manager, something like that. That would be good. Then he would be kicking himself.
Yeah,
that's
good
what
for
I'm
you.
gonna do.
Good luck on that. Be safe, everyone. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great weekend.